Hello, listeners at home. Welcome to the third episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I will be your host today, Brandon Kratkoczki, and with me is Angelo Auriemma.
Hi, Mom.
And Vivien Pong.
Hi, it's still me.
She says still because this is our second take at this episode.
Oh, you broke the illusion.
I'll break your illusion.
Oh.
Now no one thinks we're
No
professional
space.
anymore.
40 seconds in, we're fighting. Yes, I forgot to turn off the speaker playback to monitor our levels, so there would have been two of me, and it would have been bad. Anyways, hi everyone. Hope you're maintaining your roosts. We got a good episode.
If not completely evident by the beginning.
We're
It
starting.
can only go up from here,
We
honestly.
promise it gets better.
Oh god, because we had mic troubles. We got confused with mic numbers and mic levels and gains, and so we're starting this 25 minutes late. But I'd like to think that this 25-minute delay is really just gonna beef us up. Anyways.
Ew.
I feel more energized than I did 25 minutes ago.
Same. So we are going to talk about a few topics today. I will be leading off the first point of discussion, and that first point of discussion is going to be none other than musicals. Yes, musicals, singing, dancing, glamour. Who doesn't love a good musical? I know I love a good musical. This is honestly one of my favorite genres in film. I know it doesn't really seem like something I would gravitate towards if you I don't know, but in the least surprising news of all time, I was a big theater kid growing up. I mean, this is the least shocking information I think I could possibly give.
Your
either.
last name does lend itself to Marquise.
Oh yes. It lends itself to like being changed. I've met one person in my whole life who pronounced my name right the first time, and she was a theater director.
Aw.
It's a sign.
Yeah, it's meant to be.
Yeah, and yeah, I did a lot of musical theater in high school, so I have a lot of love for the form. And musical movies, for me, is a great way for escapism, to enjoy the craft, to just listen to songs, and enjoy the shows that I love without having to go out to the theater. I love a good live musical, but sometimes watching a musical from the comfort of your own home is really nice. And do either of you have favorite musicals, Angelo?
Oh yeah, we sticking to like movie musicals. Okay,
Yes.
well, I think that always when I think of movie musicals, it jumps to Disney. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, like they all kind of are quasi musicals.
Half of them are on Broadway.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like gut reaction is like Aladdin. Like I like
Yeah.
that a lot. I mean, with Robin Williams being Robin Williams.
It's on Broadway, so I'll count it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mhm.
But then also, I don't know. I always find it so weird how musicals from the stage rarely translate well to films, even though obviously a lot of films translate into musicals.
Boy, I
like,
got a
Yeah.
disagreement for you coming up here.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair. But I'm just saying, like, I think of Gerard Butler in the Phantom of the Opera.
Okay,
Or, like,
that's a terrible film.
that's what I'm getting at. Or like even I don't know. just I feel like there's more examples of that than good
Mhm.
examples.
Do you have a favorite musical
I
film?
do. The Music Man.
Oh,
Mm.
shoot.
The Music
I
Man.
can't curse on this show. So,
Classic. They did a reboot.
yeah, with
There's-
Matthew.
Yeah, there's an original one. Matthew Broderick, is that
Yeah.
he's in the reboot?
Mhm.
Right.
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
Well, you got
All right.
trouble, folks.
No,
Out
but
here
I've seen both of them, and I like them. I love
Mm-hmm.
them both equally for some weird reason. That and Chicago, the
Oh,
reboot
yeah.
though,
Mhm.
yeah, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, but you gotta give justice to La La Land. It's just the best one.
Who boy?
Woo! Justice for La La
Who
Land.
boy?
Oh, I don't want to talk about.
I have I have points about La La Land because I'm gonna talk
Ah.
about what I like in musicals and then why La La Land fails.
I just like
That's-
being the
that's
odd
the
man out.
crux.
If you haven't seen Music Man, people who are listening to this, I guess you should watch it because it is a classic. And there's an entire sonnet about Gary, Indiana. And
Oh
I
my God.
remember, the little kid singing about Gary, Indiana. And
I played that little kid once.
oh my God, because he's a redhead.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. And so he's like outcast because he's like a redhead, and then he sings this really adorable song about Gary, Indiana. He's like tap dancing down the
Yes.
steps. So when I moved here to Indiana, me and my little friends were like really excited because we're like, oh my God,
Gary.
Gary, Indiana. And then we went to Gary, Indiana. It is not how it is depicted in the film. Gary, Indiana sure has changed over the years.
You're about 40 years late
Yeah. To that
to that haven.
Right, but
What I really like about musicals in general is like they feel very propulsive, I think. Musicals just have this nonstop energy, and they're like always barreling forward from song to song, and they never feel bored. A lot of musicals are really long. Like The Music Man is nearly a 3-hour film,
yeah.
but it never feels like it's a 3-hour movie, just because musicals just they have to maintain a certain energy that translates from the stage, because when everyone's in a dark room, everyone's kind of sleepy, you need to keep the audience awake. And I just think a lot of musical movies are able to capture that really well. My favorite musical movie, I'm only counting Broadway musicals because my favorite musical movie is All That Jazz, and that's never been a show. It's just Bob Fosse tapping himself on the back, saying how cool he is. But my favorite musical movie is Jesus Christ Superstar.
That is exactly, I think, one of the guesses I would have made, maybe.
Yeah, that's
fitting.
fitting.
Honestly, that fits very well with you.
Because the movie is really cool, because they actually went to Jerusalem, and they filmed out in the desert and all of the historical Jesus places, and all of them.
That is the technical term.
The Jesus
Every single one.
biblical scholars have long recognized that there are a handful of Jesus places in this world.
I like to imagine that someone's going to confuse Jesus Christ Superstar with like Passion of the Christ and watch that expecting some
Oh,
musical
you know
numbers.
what's really good? Book of Mormon.
Yes.
When that was on Broadway. I'm sure they're going to make
Seen
that
it
into a
twice.
movie.
It's going to
Yeah,
be a movie
yeah.
eventually.
I'm sure
That-
they're going to turn that into a film soon.
That's the thing is that I don't
So
know about that one
clever.
because I wonder what they're going to do because
It's just going to be South Park animated characters.
I'm saying, but yeah, because Josh Gad and Andrew Reynolds are both so much older now that I don't know if they
Yeah.
can play those characters.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Reynolds has aged since he's been on Girls. Now he's like hipster and Brooklyn-y.
He's been to a dark place since the Book of Mormon. And Hamilton's probably going to be a movie soon.
They
I-
recorded the last one live or whatever, right?
Yeah, the
Like
very last
that
Lin-Manuel
Lin-Manuel was
show.
in.
Seeing that in 2 weeks, a week and a half.
I'm seeing it in 2 weeks also.
I love it. Wait.
Okay, what show are you going to?
I'm going
Are you
to
guys going to the
Wednesday
same
night.
show?
Oh, never mind. I'm
Oh.
going the Sunday of spring break.
Yeah, I'm going
to
to
the
Wednesday.
matinee.
I'm going to
And
Wednesday.
I will be seeing it in my dreams.
It's Vivien will be asleep right next to me and Angelo.
Zah, why? What a great musical.
And it'll actually be my second time seeing Hamilton.
Okay. I've forced myself to not listen to any of the songs except like the first 3.
Okay, you did yourself a good service. I did that either because I believe that you shouldn't listen to the soundtrack before a show, because that would be like just listening to the dialogue of a movie and you don't see the pictures. I think it's really important for music, dance, and acting to all combine into one piece. And cast albums are fun and good when you're not there and you just want to hear the songs again, but I only listen to cast albums after I've seen a show. But yes, anyways, back to actual movie musicals, not just us geeking out. I just really love the form, and this brings me to the latest musical that is about to dominate the Academy Awards. La La Land. A movie I hate. A movie I really don't like. I'll tell you why I don't like La La Land. I think that a musical can have...
signed up for.
I think that a musical can have as good of a script or as good of characters as you want, but if it doesn't have the jams, then you don't have a musical. I don't think La La Land has the jams. I think A Day in the Sun is the only good song. Another Day in the Sun is the only good song in La La Land. I think City of Stars is a miserable moaner. That's just terrible. I think I mentioned earlier about like forward energy and how musicals are always like really snappy. I don't think La La Land is that. I got bored between songs. I was just waiting for a song to break up the monotony almost. It's like when I'm watching a music, I'm like, oh yeah, when's the next song gonna be? But I'm watching La La Land, I was like, oh, when's the next song gonna be? And yeah, I just found it to be kind of limp as a musical. I didn't really think it was constructed really well. The emotional arcs were kind of weird. I didn't like Ryan Gosling's acting or singing. I didn't like Emma Stone's dancing or half of her singing, because I've seen a really weird argument about this around. People are like, oh, it's okay because they're
It's
just
fresh.
supposed to be regular people, and I'm like, That's crap. There's so many musicals about regular people that are really good and have really good songs, like Miss Saigon or even Les Mis is just about peasants. So yeah, La La Land really frustrates me. Thoughts around the table? La La Land, terrible.
Shout out to Javert from Les Mis, my favorite role ever.
Andon Javert.
Yeah, shout out to Russell Crowe, best ever.
God, this is the second time I've done a Russell Crowe Javert impression in the Real Deal podcast.
Oh, no.
I did it in my first
do a super cut.
Jesus God.
At the end of the year. All the times Brandon did his Russell Crowe voice.
Yeah, I like to think in 50 episodes we'd have like 200 of
200.
those
So we have-
compiled
we have
together.
hours of
excess.
me doing Javert.
Oh my
we just
God.
eventually dub me over Russell Crowe.
Oh jeez.
Nah, prison 24601. I'm starting from the beginning. I know Les Mis really. Okay, so
Well, I'm the dissenting.
Descent.
opinion-
You're at the
opinion
descending
of the
opinion.
table.
Angela's sinking into
So I don't know
the
if you
floor.
want me to be the cream of the Oreo or like bookended. I don't know. I don't care
But
either
you-
way.
We're
Just
cream of the
argue,
Oreo.
argue
Cream of the
against it.
Oreo. Am
Yeah.
I right, Vivian? Am I right?
We were talking about how Angelo could have his own line of Oreos called Auriemma's Oreos.
I
Yeah.
mean, it writes
I mean,
itself.
it's just,
They'd be stuffed with smarm.
That's how I tell. That's how I
Aw.
tell people. Is like it's
yeah, he
Oreo
goes
Emma.
Oreo Emma.
It's-
Yeah.
I mean, it works.
Just-
Yeah, so I'm with Brandon on the La La Land stuff. When it came out, I saw it with a lot of my friends, and we came out, and I was like, huh? And they're like, woo! And I was like, but I frequently am that person. I didn't like Boyhood when it came out.
yes.
I
This is
have a
a
lot
point of
against
contention.
Boyhood. I have a lot against Interstellar.
I like Interstellar.
Broke Isaac's heart.
Yeah,
Aiden was
I
with me
hate
on that, though.
Interstellar.
I enjoyed Birdman, which a lot of people wrote off. They were like, it's stuffy because it's too artsy.
I liked Birdman, but I didn't love Birdman.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could make a clear argument against or for Birdman. To be perfectly honest with you,
That was
I
really-
completely
that was
understand both arguments,
There you
like
go,
both
yeah.
sides. Of the
I wish
argument.
Whiplash won that year.
Oh man, yeah.
Ooh.
Sorry, but getting back to La La Land,
Yes.
I am with Brandon on the against. I agree with your points. I had a huge problem with the lack of diversity in the
Oh,
film
yes.
for a film about jazz, which is not rooted in the culture of Caucasian people. I feel like there were not enough strong supporting black characters. John Legend's character was weirdly enough sort of written off as a hack.
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird because the point he made about like jazz being the future and like Ryan Gosling being the traditionals and how they sort of have to meet in the middle made a lot of like sense just like logically, and then Ryan Gosling was like, no, like I don't want to listen to you. Also LA is incredibly diverse. There is people from all over in LA, and they did not seem to represent that as clearly, I guess. I love Emma Stone. I love her so much. But she is incredibly just like white looking. She looks very, very Irish, I feel.
I'll have you know, she was an Asian in
Oh,
Aloha.
never forget when she was in Aloha. Yeah, but I had a huge problem with the lack of diversity that was shown, I guess, in the film, and just sort of how, in my opinion at least, all the black characters are sort of put into the background when they are at the club, like the very old-fashioned jazz club. The visual of just like, Ryan Gosling lecturing Emma Stone about like jazz, while like all these other characters were just literally background characters, really struck me. I was like, oh, this is an uncomfortable visual for me. I don't really know why, but
It felt like escapism almost. They were just
yeah, it felt like a
cultural
very
escapism.
unrealistic portrayal of LA, I guess, which I guess is a certain point of musicals is like no one does that in real life. But also in my head, I was like, it's also 2017, and I also think because the other films surrounding the Oscars right now are all like very pushing for diversity and equality, like Hidden Figures, obviously. Moonlight was Fences, yeah. So like I feel like maybe because it was in the context of those films I was watching this one film in, I was like, dang it, like you could have done better, like
Yeah.
I was just really frustrated because I really wanted to love it and I didn't, and I was sad.
Oh, why did you love it, Angela?
Yes.
To me, La La Land, it's kind of weird because I just have to kind of justify my own. It's kind of weird to justify your own feelings for something. I don't know without. I mean, I know that's the whole point of it. I'm saying though,
This is group therapy.
how I took it is that I can kind of debate against more of Brandon's points than your. I understand Vivien.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to diversity and that kind of stuff.
She made larger cultural points that I don't really think can be denied.
That's what
TBH, but I just made practical points because
for sure.
I hate everybody.
No, I'm just for La La Land in particular because I love musical. I'm with you, Brandon. I grew up on musicals. I love musicals. I try and be.
It's me doing the hashtag. I'm with you.
I am with
if you heard a faint slapping sound, that's what that was.
But yeah, no, for La La Land in particular, the one thing for me that stuck out in regards to the music, in regards to is that it wasn't a musical in the normal standards of song break, or even like a Les Miserables or Phantom of the Opera continuous song, or even Hamilton, I guess. For me, it was just if you go into it and it is just a movie in which the characters, when they're really excited and they're expressing their opinions, break out into song. And that's why actually I was reading a lot of Reddit kind of threads afterwards and that kind of stuff, in which they talk about how for the second act of the entire show, essentially until that grand finale, there really isn't that much music at all. I mean, there's literally, if you look at the soundtrack, as you kind of already pointed out, there's 7 songs maybe in the entire 2.5 hour movie. And I think that it's really to express the fact that the characters aren't happy at that point. They're expressing conflict with one another. They aren't happy with one another, and that they aren't feeling, besides him droning on about City of Stars in the background every once in a while, there isn't a feeling for them to break out into song and to be happy. And I felt as though the dialogue in which they were singing the "What a Wonderful View" or
What a Wonderful Night?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
But I'm saying that whole scene is it seemed like every time that they broke into song, it felt natural. And it didn't seem like, okay, here's the music break. It was just like, oh, they're continuing the scene into the dialogue. It wasn't like in a musical when it's like, all right, record scratch, someone's breaking. It's like, it kind of just felt as if most of the time, I don't know. Because I had actually, when I first saw the movie, you hear about incredible expectations and whatnot.
I think that was what's happened for me, was it got too psyched up for me, and I went into it, I was like, it's gonna be amazing.
No, the thing is for me is that in actuality, I really I fell for the characters, and I did fall for the in-betweens, the lines of their dialogue, them talking as if they're a normal couple, a realistic couple. In actuality, the first thing that struck me about the movie is that I didn't like the first song when I was watching it in theaters.
Really?
Swear to God.
That's my favorite song.
I was like,
I was all in, yeah.
Well, I think that the song is good, but I'm saying in the moment, for some reason, it was one of those things that I think kind of draws the line between film and musical sometimes. And in that I was like, every one of them are lip syncing like a mofo. It is sometimes, I mean, Les Mis really went all out as to hey, we're singing, zooming on my face,
they
and
sure did.
That was gross. And some movies, that halfway line is kind of nice, but I felt like that first line that first song, I was kind of thrown off as to
Well, I know the director, Damien Chazelle, right?
Yeah.
He had made a point about how he wanted to start the film out with an all-out, very stereotypical music number, so people coming in to see the film would be like, oh, it's this kind of movie, and then you can leave or stay. So good thing you stayed, I guess. Yeah.
No, well, yeah, and then the ending song is pretty. Well, there are parts of the ending that are pretty stereotypical. But other than that, yeah, after the first song and then a song subsequently with Emma Stone, there really isn't that much grand musical-esque music.
There's a difference between musicals and movies and music, though,
Yeah.
right? Do you know a musical? Isn't it where I don't know if this is right. I saw an interview with Anna Kendrick and Stephen Colbert. She was explaining it, where the music and the lyrics move the action along, right? And the characters aren't necessarily aware that they are singing. So I don't know what La La Land would be categorized, because half the time they are very aware that they are singing, and half the time it's oh, this is just I am speaking, but it isn't song presented to the audience.
That's 100% accurate.
Yeah, okay.
A pure musical theater is in the world of the musical. They are singing,
right?
Like Grease and whatnot.
Yeah, like Grease,
oh
or The Music Man, where they just start singing.
High School Musical.
Yeah,
what
High School Musical.
I mean, you know what?
I mean, half and half.
I just want to put in a shout out for when they did Grease Live. That was a beautiful piece of production. That was, you saw the camera set up, the lighting, jeez.
I mean, especially in comparison to the other ones, which aren't very good.
Did you see that video of the assistant director cutting Grease Lightning live?
Yeah. He was back and, oh my God, that's amazing.
It was she, mind you. Yes.
Maybe I saw a different clip. Okay.
No representation.
That is good.
Female directors. Anyway, yeah, to talk about some of your points, I agree that songs did come up naturally, and that's something I appreciate, is that the film felt very naturalistic. For me, I didn't think that the in-betweens were good enough to carry the momentum between songs, because my belief in any movie where people sing in it is that songs come at emotional climaxes, and every bit of dialogue and every bit of background music in between is build up to the next emotional moment. It's peaks and valleys, and I think that La La Land didn't have so much of a good emotional arc for me. I think it just kind of languished in these feelings that these people were having. And if it wanted to be a more solemn movie, then maybe don't have those flights of fancy. I know I liked it when it went fanciful. I like that scene. I like that scene in the planetarium where they're just kind of dancing around.
I know that's like more of a homage. What is
yeah,
it?
that
American
was old
in
school,
Paris?
American in Paris.
Yeah.
Yes, I just
very Singing in the Rain-esque.
Yes.
Just kind of the break in action as a whole.
I see where you're coming from with that. I think also my problem, besides the whole cultural aspect, I guess, was I did not believe like Ryan Gosling as a struggling like jazz musician, because I feel like, and maybe it's because all the musicals I've seen, like it's very melodramatic, so maybe I went into it thinking it'd be melodramatic, but I felt like their problems were not like that big, or so I feel like they were not represented in a way where I was like, oh man, I really feel for you. Like Emma Stone like went to a couple auditions and they were like rude to her, but not, I don't know,
that's L.A.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? That really sucks. But, you know, you also are living in a home. And, like, Ryan Gosling is living somewhere. Like, you guys both are not.
I'm
don't
sure
know.
we've all had people be ruder to us in
Yeah,
Muncie.
I was going to say. And I was like, I don't know. Like, this feels very minuscule, and, like, the way you're trying to project it is, like, these like, dream-crushing things. I was like, I feel like your dreams aren't being crushed. I feel like this is all inside your head.
Yeah, I agree. Anyways, I think we have milked this topic pretty well.
That's our show for today.
That's our show. It's 22 minutes in, and we've talked about La La Land a lot. And I think it's about time I bounce it to our next segment, Vivien Pong.
Oh, yes. So.
Ping pong.
Ping pong, yeah.
So nice.
So, that should be my sound effect.
That'd be
pong.
great. Or just like Pong, the video game.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you have it set up. I'm so jealous.
So, yeah, for branding. So I was going to talk about Arrival, but should I still talk about that? Have you seen it?
I have.
You haven't seen it.
You know,
That's
screw
okay.
me. Go for it.
We can, like, convince Angela. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. Yeah, there's nothing to do with it. I'm not protesting it or anything.
I have only seen, like, a handful of movies twice in theaters. I saw The Jungle Book twice because it was just so, like, happy. I came out of it and I was so happy. I was like, oh, man, so much fun. I saw Mad Max twice. That was exhausting to like watch twice. I was like, oh god, I feel like I was on the whole journey.
I saw Scott Pilgrim twice in theaters.
Did you? Yeah, it's like those movies where you're like, I will pay good money. I saw Arrival twice, and then I saw it a third time at home. But it is just an incredible film, and it is based on a short story by Ted Chiang, I believe his name is. Yeah. Called Stories of Your Life. And so I got the book for my dad for Christmas, and then before I gave it to him, I read it because I'm greedy like that. And if you've ever seen Black Mirror, it is like the book version of Black Mirror. Yeah. It is like the book version of Black Mirror where like all these things happen and you're like, oh my god, what's happening? And at the end you're like, oh my god, it all fell apart. But it is incredible. I highly recommend it. It's you really have to sit down and read it. It's not like a light read. Like you have to get into it. But once you get into it, it's really good. So Arrival is like a sci-fi film, right?
Yeah,
ish.
Science
and I'm
fiction.
and I'm not like super into sci-fi. I never really got into like the sci-fi culture. I feel I have never actually seen like the original Star Treks. I probably should, but as a reference point.
Boy.
Yeah.
My heart just skipped a beat a little bit.
I know. I'm so sorry. I've seen Star Wars. I know they're not. I'm aware they're not the same thing. But it was such a beautiful piece of film. Amy Adams is the lead. I'm trying to think of how to describe it without ruining it for Angela. So these aliens land on Earth, and then she's like a linguist, and she has to be called
into their giant contact lens.
Yeah, into their giant. That's what it looks like. That's true.
I was gonna bring up like how similar is this movie to Contact?
No,
because that's what it spells out to me. Like,
no.
Okay.
I think Contact feels like a darker film.
Yeah,
right?
Contact's a lot darker.
This one's a lot lighter.
Arrival's hopeful.
And then hopeful is the right word. And then she has to like go in and like interpret like the alien's language, and it's sort of this whole film about how language can be a barrier, but how it also like pushes us all to do better. I don't know how to explain it, but it's been called, all the reviews I've read about it called it like a cerebral film, and I was like, oh my god, that is the perfect word to describe it.
Yeah.
But it's so beautiful, and the soundtrack is like a toned down Hans Zimmer is how I would describe it.
Yes.
Like a soft Hans Zimmer. Like if Hans Zimmer wrote like lullabies, this is how I would describe it. Because it's like in the background and you sort of subtly hear it and moves the action along. But it is beautiful. I love it. Please go see it.
I think maybe for a more general discussion, we could curb this to like modern high concept sci-fi and just talk about like different things.
Think of any.
So we just don't stick on Arrival, a movie that Angela hasn't seen.
That's true. I don't want to.
I'll say one of my favorite recent high concept sci-fi stories is Black Mirror, the whole series.
I see that one.
Essentially,
So good.
Black Mirror is
Black
a
Mirror's
bunch
so much
bunch
darker.
shorts, bunch of short subjects, all non-interlinked, and it's all about how technology is going to kill us and make our lives terrible. It's extremely dark, extremely bleak, usually incredibly well acted and constructed. I was thinking acted and constructed, and then they just
should be noted that it's not only about how technology is going to destroy us all, but how we as humans are going to use that technology to destroy each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was very much simplifying when talking about Black Mirror, but my favorite episode of Black Mirror is San Junipero, which is the only hopeful episode of Black Mirror.
I would compare that almost to Arrival, honestly, in the same sense.
It's
very dreamy.
It hits the same tones.
Yeah.
It's the same beats, I think. San Junipero is about essentially a colony that you can go to if you hook yourself up to a computer server, to your mind, and you can exist there for a few hours at a time.
It's like a very advanced virtual reality.
Yes. And two women fall in love there, and one of the women is dying. One of them is very old. A lot of people are using the San Junipero experiment for escapism from their day-to-day lives. And it's all about their love story and how it's going to transcend reality, transcend face-to-face connection, and it's just a really, really beautiful story, I think. Do you have a favorite cerebral sci-fi thing?
You know, this was something I was actually going to bring up in the next one. I don't know where this stands in regards to other people's opinions either. But and this might not even be on the same topic, but it links it to me in some way, shape, or form, is I think of Inception.
Yes, I agree.
Yes,
okay.
For sure.
I love Inception. And in regards to, like, that movie blows my mind, and also, for some reason, in 2.5 hours maybe, somehow explains its own reality in completion. Goes throughout this exciting journey and wraps it. It's like it's somehow like you go in blind and learn everything and then experience something with what you've learned. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think Inception is one of the only Chris Nolan movies that I like. It's incredibly well constructed, and the people still argue about the ending. Okay, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's been 7. I don't know how many years it's been.
What do you think about the top? Does it fall? Does it?
I don't think it matters, honestly. That's not the answer you want.
Okay,
I think that's like the
I'm
modern.
sorry.
Yeah, I think that's like the modern.
That's not the answer you want.
Are you?
I think it does fall, but that's because I'm like hopeful that like because that means he's in real life, right? Yeah, but that means because like I'm super hopeful that like Leonardo DiCaprio has his life back.
Yeah, here's the thing: is
and
that
Michael Caine didn't just take over everything.
Well, the thing is that most people or some people online have boiled down the fact that like his wedding ring is his totem, and that's kind of a thing that's going around. Is that since it's supposed to be like, since he is wearing it or something at the end, he is still in a dream. Like that's supposed to be what people have broken down.
Oh.
Here's the thing. I think it's supposed to be ambiguous.
Yeah.
Maybe because Chris Nolan won't admit to one way or the other. I personally, especially when you see it wobble or whatever, I'm with you. I like to believe that he's not in a dream and that it's a happy ending of some sort. That's how I want to choose to believe, especially because we do see the weeble wobble there.
The weeble wobble.
So that's my justification.
Don't fall down. Yeah. I think he is absolutely in the dream.
Oh.
I think. Okay, so I'm gonna break it down. We have the first layer of the dream when they're in the van and everyone's chasing after them. We have the second layer when they're in the hotel, and then the ice layer. Yeah. So he throws himself in the tub in the ice layer. And then that snaps him back.
Out.
But I think he drowned in the first layer. I think he drowned in the van.
But everyone else got out?
Yeah, everyone else got out. But they showed him underwater. they cut to him, his body like sinking in the van. So I think he drowned in the first layer, and he's stuck in a combination of Purgatory and Inception, and his mind
That is miserable.
forever scrambled.
That reminds me of The Prestige.
Oh
Which
man,
is also a depressing film.
The Prestige is
Same with
awfully
Memento. Every
depressing.
one of his films, man. Except, well, I guess, honestly, Interstellar probably has the most cheerful ending in regards to, like, okay.
I agree that I think the ending is a bit more leaning towards hopeful, but also that tone of, like, does it matter? Like, as long
Yeah.
as he's happy. We just all want Leo to be happy.
Yeah, come on, Leo.
I mean-
Come on. We want what's best
we'll
for
find
you.
out in 80 years when he doesn't die. If he's
Yeah.
still in a
Honestly.
dream or not.
The Christopher Nolan movie that makes me the happiest is The Dark Knight Rises, because I've never laughed harder at a blockbuster. Boy, I hate The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, gosh.
Time to go mobile.
Dr. Pavel.
Oh, jeez.
Oh boy. All right. So yeah, shout out to cerebral sci-fi. Good genre, good films.
Yes. There
I-
should be more.
I think there should. That's the issue.
It's hard to get. It's hard. They talked about how hard it was for Arrival to get made
Yeah.
because it was like. I think what's happening is television studios are doing these things where they're like, the audience won't get it, and then they go off and make, the Emoji Movie, and it's like,
That's-
your audience doesn't want this.
You know what? You
okay?
laugh now. That's going to be a very cerebral science
Oh
film.
Lord! Oh, I hope.
Patrick
I am
Stewart's
all for
gonna be the
that.
poop emoji. So
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Because 2017 is the year of why not.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what's happening is these big studios are like, oh, like they're not gonna get it. Like
Mhm.
they're gonna think it's like too high art. And I'm like, no, like I think the audience, like I think it'll happen. Also, you have so much money. Like, why do you need?
hmm
Jeez, just
I agree with that.
or they're gonna make like Paul Blart like 8. Like, Paul Blart is gonna outlive all of us. Just you wait. Me around on a Segway.
Who are they going to remake Paul Blart with when Kevin James can't do it anymore? Who's the actor that's going to take that helm? It's got to be someone younger, obviously. That's the hard part. You know, if
They're
Josh
trying.
Peck wasn't beautiful now, he would have been perfect.
Josh Peck was beautiful. You know what they're probably gonna do? They're gonna do what they did for Rogue One. They're just gonna reanimate.
CG.
They're
Kevin
gonna do
James.
a CG Kevin James, and he's gonna be doing like weird, like his arm's gonna stretch, and you're gonna be like, what? Like the
Oh,
real
boy.
Kevin James would never be able to do that. I was like, how do you know? How do you know? The CGI is so good at this time.
Oh,
Well,
man.
It's probably gonna elevate. It's gonna be virtual reality Paul Blart.
My answer is gonna be your mother,
are
but
Paul
that's
Blart.
funnier.
That's great.
You are.
I
Paul
want
Blart.
a first-person VR Paul Blart,
You
Paul
are.
Blart video game.
Yeah, it's
Paul
like an
Blart
experience.
VR.
You're on the
Incredible.
Segway. You're on the Segway the entire time.
Paul Blart VR cop.
Dude, I
We're
would pay.
trademarking it
I
right
would pay
now.
good money
I'd
to
do anything
experience
for
that at like my local Apple store. I wouldn't buy it.
I thought you were
but,
gonna say
like-
Applebee's, and I'm like, what a strange thing for
Or
Applebee's
that,
to
honestly,
include.
if they need like a bigger audience, like the audience that wants Paul Blart VR is
They're
a niche
at
market,
Applebee's,
but
TBH.
it's there. It's me. I go to Applebee's and I'd like that.
Anyways, back to cerebral sci-fi.
Yeah,
I agree
but
with your point that that they should be bankrolling them more. I just think that studios are
Risks.
really afraid of taking chances, because let's look at the sequel culture now.
Mhm.
Sequel culture's terrible. You talked about
The
the Scarface
reboots.
reboot on the
Oh,
show,
I forgot that.
and that's
Baywatch.
gonna be terrible. But yeah, the Baywatch reboot,
Actually,
the
I'm totally
Jumanji.
gonna go.
I
see
mean,
Baywatch.
to be fair,
I'm
though,
against Jumanji reboot.
well, yeah, I'm saying
Why?
I think there's a difference too of like reimaginings and just straight up reboots, because even if it's horrible and it's probably good. I mean, the Baywatch, to be fair, is like supposed to be a different story in the
Yeah.
universe.
But
like,
Baywatch is like self-aware. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean? That's
know.
the thing. Baywatch is like they know like what they are. They're like we're like cheesy and over the top
Yeah.
and like why does everyone look like super ripped? Like
I'm saying,
not
like,
realistic.
the biggest biggest criminal of this, or the biggest person who does it, is Disney. Disney is
Oh, yeah.
with the Beauty and the Beast, for example. They're gonna keep doing that with Aladdin, with Lion
Mhm.
King, with.
I,
I mean, it's
I
gonna-
have a
it's
pet
not gonna
theory
stop.
about that. I think Disney just makes those movies to fund Star Wars. I think that
I'd be
they
fine with
get.
that.
I could see that.
I think that they get a director that they can pay $2 million. Then they get an actor that they underpay, but they do it because it's Disney.
yeah.
And then they get a lot of CGI characters and a lot of overqualified
Lord.
people, and then they make a crap
Smash
ton
it
of.
together.
They smash it together, and then they make a crap ton of money, and then they use that to fund their terrible Star Wars sequels.
Okay, sorry. You can go on with yours.
I think the state of Star Wars is really emblematic. I think of what I think about the current state of sci-fi.
Did
and
you
what
enjoy
needs to
Rogue
change.
One?
No,
Oh.
Oh,
I really
I
hated
really
Rogue
liked
One.
it.
Oh, now I'm the minority now. Oh, they just fist bumped.
Represent.
I'm being
Oh.
conspired against, folks. Let it be heard
Yes.
here.
But I
An
agree with
Auriemma
your
power
I agree with your thing. Maybe we should move on to Auriemma.
Or yeah, well, let's move on to Oreos.
Oh, the one thing I was gonna ask on that last topic is if you think they're ever gonna remake they're not the original. I don't even think they'll go there, but the prequel trilogy. If you think that they'll ever right the wrongs, kind of to try and tie it better to the
I hope that comes
original
back as a
trilogy.
Cartoon Network reboot.
Oh, man.
TBH, or like something like Dark and Twisty on FX.
Phantom Menace Go.
Can you catch Darth Maul? Can you catch all the Gungans?
That would be great. But the only live action character is Jar Jar Binks.
I mean, obviously.
Everything else is animated.
It's
Jar Jar
really
Binks is the only
complex.
live
I
action.
want some
Played by
guy.
Daniel
Yeah, it's
Day-Lewis.
got a
There
lot
are,
of layers.
there are people that like. There's a guy who's made himself look into Red.
Darth Maul.
No, like Red Skull
Yeah.
from Captain America. There's a guy who's made his face look like that.
With
I want.
plastic surgery?
Yeah. In like tattoos and all that stuff. There's guys who've made
Oh,
themselves look like
that's
lizards with
dedication.
tattoos. I want someone with plastic surgery and whatnot to make themselves look like Jar Jar Binks. What do I have to do to make it happen? I'll pay for it myself. I just need a guinea pig to let it happen to him.
Oh God.
To answer your question though, I
Tell me how
don't
the
think
apocalypse starts.
I do not think we will be going back to the prequels because Disney has already canonized them. And I think they're really careful with prequel apologists because they've been really careful to just not touch the prequels. Like they're more like, look
They
at all
know
this
everyone's-
original trilogy crap flying around. It's
Oh,
like,
that's
X-wings. But they
There are some X-wings in there.
that's what Rogue One was. It's throw some X-wings in there, the movie. That's my opinion of Rogue One. But I don't think they're going to touch the prequel trilogy because I think they know what it means to some fans and know what it means to
Yeah.
other fans,
Dumb.
and they're just going to... I think we're going to see very little prequel content
Hopefully.
all around.
Makes
All right,
sense.
let's move to Oreo's point.
Sure.
Oreo.
Sorry about that. Okay. So today, is today the embargo lifted for Get Out reviews, or
Yeah.
at least everyone saw Get Out.
Oh my God.
It's got a coveted 100%
Yeah, I don't believe that.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't believe that. Oh.
Was it worth it, Brandon?
My mic just went away. You're hearing me
We gotta
readjust my
get
mic
some sound
at home.
effects.
What? So,
I'll
like,
bring
I
sound
mean,
effects next
okay.
time.
So to be fair, it's not Metacritic or anything. Rotten Tomatoes is essentially, to my knowledge, it's just that every critic that means gave it a positive review.
Yeah.
That's 100% of people who
That-
saw it gave it a positive
That's
review.
why the Jason Segel Muppet movie has like a 97%.
Yeah, it's
because
doesn't-
everyone's like, yeah, this movie's fun.
It's not perfect.
movie's
It's just
not
that
funny.
everyone has good interpretations of it, good feelings about it.
Mhm.
But that's still huge, especially for this. And like,
Have any of you seen this yet?
no,
No,
it's
I
not
have
out
not.
yet, right?
My
It's,
friend saw like a
it's coming
preview
out this
screening.
Friday. Yeah, they had a preview
Logan
screening.
so watched
so
that
so
preview
in-
screening. He's got
so-
a little beanie that says "Get Out" on it.
So 2.5 hours from now, Friday, or
Yeah.
Okay, I was just
it
making
comes
sure.
out in a couple hours.
okay. Well, no, I haven't seen it, but I want to now. It's just this caught me off guard in a lot of ways, in a good way.
Mhm.
But it led me to think more of, with all these great movies coming out, whether they're controversial or not. I kind of wanted to ask you guys what, in your minds, not even your favorite movies or anything, because I like a lot of horrible movies just because I
Same.
like them. We have emotional attachment to them, even though we can see faults in them.
Toxins?
I want to know, in your mind, movies that you've seen that you genuinely think are perfect, or no perfect movies are as close
Oh,
as close
That's a
to
good
like.
question.
And again, like, accepting, like, a lot of movies, I love movies that have faults. These
Yeah.
movies that you look at and you're like, okay, that's a great movie, and you'll defend it and that kind of stuff. And I guess the example I can throw, I have two examples I can throw out. I guess we already mentioned Inception. That was gonna be another one that I could, even though again,
Okay.
I think in my mind, Empire Strikes Back. These are kind of obvious cash grabs or whatever, but and Jurassic Park to me are two movies that I watch. And I'm like, man, these are just. You couldn't change a thing about this movie
I
to
gotta,
make it
like,
better.
pull up a list or
Either of them.
something.
Like, if you tried to make this movie better, you would fail dramatically in both of those cases.
I have answers on hand, so you can do some research.
Yes, you go. You go first.
I'm interpreting perfect in two different ways. A movie that I personally think hits everything that I want in a movie, and a movie that I think is perfect, structurally sound, just well-oiled machine. The well-oiled machine movie is Gremlins. Gremlins, the horror comedy, 80s, Joe Dante. I've been watching that movie since I was a little kid. Probably way too young to watch Gremlins. I remember when I first saw that movie, my mom rented it for me from Hollywood Video, which ages me, I think.
Hollywood Video, dang.
R.I.P.
My mom.
Rip.
This one goes out to you, Hollywood Video.
So Hollywood Video let you rent movies for a week, or at least in certain sections. They wouldn't let you rent new movies for a week, but you could rent certain movies for a week. And I had Gremlins for a week, and I think I watched it every single day for that week that I had it, because I was just enamored by it. I think structurally it's perfect. It hits all of the beats of the 3-act structure with just precision, fine-tuned piano hits. I think that all of the horror and the comedy is mixed really excellently. I just think it's super well put together. I wouldn't change a single thing about Gremlins, not from the Christmas tree attacking the mom to Steven Spielberg riding around on a Segway in a weird cameo. Because there's a scene where the dad, I think his name is he Bill or Phil Polster? Yeah, I think he's Bill Polster, and he's in the phone booth. There's all these weird science things going around him, and then Steven Spielberg just like driving donuts around the phone booth in a Segway. But I don't think there is anything wrong with Gremlins, and people are always surprised when I say that's one of my favorite movies. A movie that's everything that I want a movie to be is Don Hertzfeldt's It's Such a Beautiful Day, which is my current favorite film. It is an hour-long animated film from legendary animator Don Hertzfeldt. You might have heard of him. He's the My Spoon is Too Big guy and the Rejected commercials. And this movie is a meditation on life and death and existentialism. It's filtered through the story of Bill, who's a little stick figure guy in a bowler cap, who is dying of some form of cancer or brain aneurysm. And it's divided into 3 chapters. The first chapter details his day-to-day life with his declining health. The second chapter is him reconciling his past with the terrible medical attacks that he's having. And the third act is his actual death. And I like me a sad movie. Most of the movies in my top 10 are some form of terribly depressing, because from there you get Synecdoche, New York, and Punch Drunk Love. Well,
that's a movie.
I love that movie. It's close to perfect, about as close to perfect as you can get for that movie. But I just think that It's Such a Beautiful Day. It really expresses these heavy ideas with deftness, and it knows when to pull the knife and when to just jam it right into your gut. And I don't think I've ever been as emotionally affected by a movie. I don't think you could take out a single frame. Like, I talk about movies like, I could take out that scene, I could take out that scene. I don't think I could take out a frame from It's Such a Beautiful Day. And yes, those are 2 movies that I think are perfect. Have you results, Miss Pong?
I'm trying to find my list, but it's okay. I will try to go off the top of my head. We're a little run close on time. I think one of my favorite movies was Thank You for Smoking, with Aaron Eckhart. I don't remember when I saw that, but I thought it was so funny and so clever. And it's based on a book, and then I went and read all the books that author book, Christopher Buckley.
Aaron Eckhart, the author.
Aaron
Eckhart wrote himself a book, and he said,
but
actually, everyone in the cast was Aaron Eckhart too.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like wearing those Mission Impossible masks.
Thank you for Aaron.
But yeah, it's more of like a political satire, I would say. Would you categorize?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank You for Smoking. Okay, but it's like weirdly high concept political satire. I feel like that it's not an easy target because it's about a guy who's a tobacco lobbyist.
Yes. And
how he deals with the ethics of that, and then all these things that happen to him. And the books sort of are very like, there's a lot of big words, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm not big on I'm not very good at like reading political satire. I enjoy political satire, but I'm very not good at like analyzing it because I'm not very caught up with our nation's history. So when they make references, I'm like, I don't know what that is. But I really enjoyed it. So I would say that film for sure. I really enjoyed Ocean's 11.
Okay, look.
I've seen that movie 50 times.
High five. I will watch
You're talking
that.
about this Ocean's 11,
the
right?
new one.
The George Clooney.
Yeah.
11.
Oh, yeah, not the
there
Rat
we
Pack
go.
one. Okay, because I've seen the
Holy
Rat Pack one, and that one is just all of them.
It's
They must have
terrible.
been drunk.
It's just them having fun.
Yeah, but I love that movie, and I will defend that film till the day. I love everything about it. I love that last scene where they are in front. Is that the scene where they're in front of the mirage with the fountains?
Yeah.
And that, oh my god, that beautiful remix of Claire de Lune's playing. It's an electronic mix by a Japanese artist. I know it's like Tomimo something. It's just a beautiful moment. I'm not even sure why. I cried. I was like, oh my god.
They did it!
Yeah, I was like, they did it. But I love everything about it. I love how unabashedly cheesy it is, and their dialogue's that stereotypical back and forth, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that there's the heist, and they have to make a team, and everyone introduces themselves in fun ways.
Such a weirdly good cast.
Right?
too, in
Such
this
a
movie.
fantastic ensemble cast that works with each other, and none of them are trying to outshine each other, which is really nice.
I think just everyone in Hollywood owed Steven Soderbergh a favor.
A favor, and they're
He's just
sure.
hey, I'm gonna cash
Why
this
not?
favor right now.
Yeah. But I love that movie. I love heist films, and I love how well done it was. And it's everything I want in a movie, in that when I want to watch a movie, I want to be entertained. At the core of it, I want to be entertained.
Yeah.
So it was entertaining, and it's funny.
Absolutely.
It's hilarious. And it makes you feel smart almost. I'm not really sure why, but when the heist comes together, you're oh, I get it. I could maybe do this. No, I can't. So I really love that film. And then, I guess my childhood favorite film besides Space Jam, which I'm aware is not the perfect movie.
Who are you asking?
But I love
Yeah,
Space
pardon
Jam.
moi?
I love Space Jam. I really enjoyed Up when I saw it. I thought that was fantastic. And along the lines of that, My Neighbor Totoro, when that came out.
I love Totoro.
Yeah, which I used to watch it in Japanese, and I don't understand Japanese, and I'm not sure why I watched it. But yeah, so it's redundant. But the point is, even watching it in a different language, it still got across to me,
very
and I
visual.
still would sit down and voluntarily watch it because the music in it and the visuals and just the storyline, it could have been a silent film, honestly, and it would have been just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
So.
Wait,
What a great
we
movie.
still have some time.
Okay.
Let's just go around the table real quick. Do you think that there's a movie where there's everything wrong with it? A completely imperfect,
I'm
disjointed mess. I have my
ready.
answer. Angelo Auriemma.
I have so many.
Okay. Okay, here's the thing. I know that this isn't true. Is the thing that's hard with it. I could jump to I always like to make fun of the live action Scooby-Doos and stuff. Those are horrible movies.
What? They're
Those,
great.
no, they're not.
Mr. Bean is in
terrible.
one of
Watch
them.
that.
So
Rowan
I love
Atkinson.
those movies when I was a kid, and I watched it a year, and I was like, I can't stomach this. But in actuality, I have to say, and I know this is such
Sugar
hipster
Ray
jumping on it.
performs.
It's either Suicide Squad or Batman vs Superman, which I looked to.
Took
I'm
my
like,
answer,
Took
dude.
I'm
mine.
sorry,
You
but
took mine.
people argue
Yeah.
with me about this. I'm like, guys, I genuinely,
Bad
and
movies.
this is nothing. And it's hard to say that but I don't think it's popular opinion. It's literally, I watched the movie and I was like, I'm just not entertained by this. It's one of those things where you can see everything that the director's like, this will be cool. And
Yeah.
it's not cool. I don't know. That's the kind of thing that I feel like personally the Star Wars movies are doing right. And I'm like, that is cool. That cameo is cool.
yeah.
And when they do it in the DC movies, I'm just like, that's not cool. I don't.
They're a little
need-
too self-congratulatory,
there's-
if that makes sense. They're sort of a little too yeah.
Yes.
They're we're doing a good job.
Good thing we don't record video.
No, I know. I'm sorry. That's why I did it. But
I agree with Angelo. I agree on the Batman versus Superman part. Maybe not as much as Suicide Squad, but I also didn't have a lot of expectations built up for that, honestly.
well, you can also defend Suicide Squad as you could try and say that it's self-aware, which helps it out, or
Oh, no,
somewhat
it's
comedic.
not.
What I'm saying, Batman vs Superman, it's taking itself dead seriously, and no one
Yeah,
else is.
I feel
That's
like
why I think you can.
Suicide Squad came out after Deadpool, right?
Squid Squad.
Ooh, yeah, Deadpool's awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe somewhere along there they saw how great Deadpool was doing. They're like, maybe we should be a little bit more like Deadpool. The graphics in Suicide Squad really bother me. I know that's a weird point. Batman vs Superman felt like a 2-hour trailer to me. I just feel like I was watching a very long, badly cut trailer, and the main storyline didn't make sense. This isn't a spoiler because it's been out for a year now, right?
Yeah, and if you're really concerned about Batman v Superman being spoiled for you,
can
I'm
cover
glad
your
to
ear.
spoil this film.
So the turning point in the film, which is so dumb, is when okay,
It's
Superman's
like a joke.
trying to kill Batman's trying to kill Superman, okay? Which first of all should not be happening because Superman is an alien, okay?
Yes.
He's trying to kill him, and then Superman has to choke out the word Martha, which is his mom's name, and she's the one who's being threatened by Jesse Eisenberg, okay? And then so Batman stops, and these images of his mother, who was also named Martha, flash through his head, and he's like, what? Our moms have the same name? I can't possibly kill you. I have to go help your mom now. But it took like a 20-minute stupidly filmed fight sequence through like this weird abandoned part of town that didn't make the fighting look cool. It made it look bulky and like ignorant fighting. I don't know, but like it took them 20 minutes to get to that point, and I was like, are you serious?
Oh, since we're talking about completely imperfect movies, I did like the Batman warehouse scene. I will throw.
You did like, okay.
I thought that was cool.
I thought it was stupid, but I was like so focused the whole time. I was like, why won't you tell him why you need his help? Why are you holding out on him? And then the moment where he's like, Martha, and Batman's like, oh my God, Martha. I'm like, are you serious right now?
Really?
So if Osama bin Laden comes up to you and he was like, hey, my mom's name is Laura, I'd be like,
all
all right, Benny,
Here we go.
we're buds now.
Also because Jesse Eisenberg is the one like holding her capture, and I cannot take Jesse Eisenberg seriously in that role at all, because he's
I
just
like
trying
him
to.
too, and
He would have been a better Joker than Jared Leto.
Oh, I could argue all day about how much I don't like Jared Leto's Joker.
Anyways.
Okay, yeah, but okay, we all agree on that, I guess.
So I'm hardcore with you on
I
that.
have.
Also, but okay, Boyhood. I'm just very strictly against Boyhood. I need to put that in there. I have so many qualms with that.
The one that I'm gonna throw out there before Angela took my answer, I had to scramble for another one. Halle Berry's Catwoman. Have either of you seen it?
I've seen the first
no,
like 10 minutes.
I've seen bits of it.
Have you seen the basketball scene?
No.
There's a scene where Halle Berry plays basketball, and she's essentially breakdancing and like going around all crazy and does this dunk, showing off her cat powers. And it's the worst cut scene I've ever seen. The issue with Catwoman is, I swear to God, there's probably about an average, like if you added up all of the cuts in the movie to how long it is, there's maybe 1 or 2 cuts a second. Is what I would say is how many cuts there are in Catwoman.
And are they unnecessary cuts?
Yes, they're just all over the place.
Yeah.
My friend was getting motion sickness from watching it. He had to get like his special bands that
Oh
he wears on his
no,
arms.
the C-bands.
Yeah, he had to wear C-bands.
Oh.
And yes, Halle Berry's Catwoman is just a mess that literally makes people sick.
Oh, Master of Disguise too.
Oh,
that movie.
The turtle. I'm in a big
I
green
don't know what
suit.
Master of Disguise is.
Good.
Dana Carvey.
You're welcome.
Loves
okay.
impressions. Anyways, I'm gonna get to our final stretch segment here.
This episode
to
made
start...
me happy.
No, it didn't. Everything's
I feel
miserable.
like I've gotten to rant about a lot of stuff.
We've gotten a lot off our
Group
chest.
therapy.
Someone said something about group therapy earlier. I'm like, yeah, that's where we are. I'm going to bring us to our final segment. We're going to go around the table and recommend something that we've seen or heard recently that we have been into. I watched the movie Elle recently, directed by Paul Verhoeven. It won the Golden Globe for Best Foreign Language Film. Isabelle Huppert won the Golden Globe for Best Actress Drama. She's nominated for the Oscar. The movie's not nominated for Best Foreign Film because of a technicality, and I think that's a crime. Elle is... the only way I could think to describe it is sort of a dark revenge comedy, because it's about a woman. In the opening scene, she gets assaulted in her own home, and she copes with it in a way that you don't see a lot of time on screen.
Is it a French film?
It is.
Okay.
It's French, and she's just like doing her best to rebuild herself, and she's also really damaged, and she has this crazy life around her, and the way that they portrayed women and gender and sexual dynamics on screen, I thought it was something I've never really seen before in a movie. It was really dynamic and interesting, and Paul Verhoeven, who has done a lot of provocative work, he did RoboCop, he did Starship Troopers, both movies I really love. And I just think it's really an epitome of just saying something really interesting and a message that I really haven't seen before in film. So yeah, if you have access to it, see Elle. Angela?
And what is that on?
I watched it through Xfinity.
I want to give a shout out to the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yay.
Because that show
happy.
it's been I'm late to this season's punch, because actually I was watching it at the time that it came out. I really liked the first season, and I felt like I watched the first 3 episodes, and I felt the show gets so self-aware and ridiculously stupid sometimes that it's like I got thrown off, and I was like, I don't want this right now. I wasn't in the right place for it at the moment, I guess, in the moment. And now I came back and rewatched it. I rewatched those episodes and finished the season, and I adored it. And it's for some reason, like how I said, it can be just bantery like Seinfeld or Friends, where they're just normal people, and then it can just be ridiculously self-aware and stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then also in the second season, they address coping with mental health issues, and like they cover serious problems, and they do it in a respectful yet crazy comedic way. And I'm like, this is so appropriate and so, like I said, so like, I don't know, you can't help but be glued to the screen and admire. And like I said, I never, for comedies, you know, you just kind of watch it, you live with the characters, you laugh a couple times, you bounce out. I wanted to binge this, and I think that's, you know, that's obviously what Netflix is good for. But I was really thrown off to be so obsessed with watching a comedy. I really wanted to see how things unfolded. So I want to, give a shout out to that. It's great. Everyone's great.
And Vivien.
I have two. The first one's real quick. Everyone should be watching John Oliver tonight. He's been on a roll lately. Well, he just came back, I guess, but it's been real good. So the one I wanted to talk about was Show Me a Hero, which is on HBO. Came out in 2015, and I just watched it over winter break, and I went through all the episodes. It's a miniseries. There's only 6, but they're each like an hour long. It's got our favorite new Star Wars character, Oscar Isaac. I don't know if people like the new
I love
Pope.
Oscar so much.
I know, he's so beautiful. Jim Belushi is in it.
Weird.
John Bernthal, who's the Punisher from whatchama.
Okay, yeah, Daredevil.
Yeah.
But okay,
I'm
this
just
is
trying
the
to like
weirdest
Catherine
cast.
Keener. She's in it. Catherine Keener is
What?
fantastic. Alfred Molina, the eyebrows. The girl with the
Oh
eyebrows.
gosh.
I somehow immediately knew who you were talking
Exactly.
about. because
Winona
eyebrows.
Ryder is in it. It's just so good. So it's written by the guy who did The Wire and Treme, David Simon.
Oh.
Right? Okay. So it's called Show Me a Hero. It's based off the Fitzgerald quote, "Show me a hero and I'll write you a tragedy." And it's about the most boring of things. A white middle class neighborhood's resistance to federally mandated scatter site public housing development in Yonkers, New York. And I know that sounds boring, but it's so exciting and it's so well done. And it's about such a serious political topic, which makes you feel like it would be dry. But it's not, because it's based on a true story, and it's a very dramatic true story. This guy went on to become the youngest mayor of Yonkers ever, and he basically ran on a platform of, basically they wanted to integrate this low-income housing into these wealthier neighborhoods that were predominantly white. And the low-income housing was primarily filled with either people of color. It was Latino people and black people. And so the white upper-class people rejected this, and the plan was to integrate it sort of in like random scattered pockets, because the idea was if you didn't have a bunch of low income housing together, then the criminal rate would go down. It only came up when it was all together, and that was like the theory they had. But they rejected it, and the Supreme Court like ordered Yonkers to like let it through. They're like, you have to let them build the housing. But for some reason the residents still rejected this, and so basically Oscar Isaac's character runs on this platform of, he's like, I'm gonna take this up to the court, which is dumb because they already took it to court and they said no. But he runs on the platform because that's what politics is about. And then he wins, and then he goes, oops, sorry, like they took it to court and then we can't do anything about it. And the residents get really mad and like rebel against him. And it's sort of this beautiful, like very tragic story of like the takedown of this promising politician. But my favorite part about it was Catherine Keener plays one of the oppositions of the low-income housing. And she is fantastic in it. Like, I related to her. Like, when she was on screen and when she was talking, I was like, I totally understand why you don't want this in your area. And it has to be noted that and she, like, starts participating in protests, and the protests get really racist. And she is not aware at first that it is racial. She's just thinking about, like, the low-income housing aspect. But it just did such a great job of portraying both sides. And Alfred Molina with his evil eyebrows does a great job playing an evil character. But it's also incredibly representative, almost terrifying, of like sort of the politics that are going on right now. Like a lot of those like what are supposed to be caricatures are dead on. I was like, oh my god, remember when our government shut down? Like this is probably what was happening. Like we were all just butting heads. But it is incredible. I watched it and then I told everyone about it. So watch it, please.
Sorry, last thing, go watch Broadchurch on Netflix. It comes back on February 27th, so go watch it. Bye.
Oh yeah, I was told to recommend I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. It won Sundance Top of the Festival prize. It's coming to Netflix this Friday. So by the time you hear this, it'll be on Netflix. Let's watch that movie.
What movie? Oh, the one you're talking
I
about?
don't feel at home in this world anymore.
Okay.
So that is our episode for the week.
Woo!
Yeah. Whoa. Be sure to check us out next week, because we are going to be having an Academy Awards special with a member of Cardinal Film Fights is going to be coming into the booth with us, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We're becoming friends with this organization, Cardinal Film Fights. Lovely people, smart people, and yeah, we're excited to work with them. Also, one more plug. Logan Sowash and I are going to be on Cardinal Film Fights. We are recording the show this Monday. We are going to be dueling it out over some fun questions, including the grossest movie scene, best movie death, and 2 more that I'm not remembering right now, which shows how prepared I am. But no, we will be figuring out that this weekend. But yes, we are going to be on Cardinal Film Fights, so check that out. We will be posting about it on our Facebook page, our Twitter, which you should all follow. And that is our episode for the day. Thank you so much for listening. This is our longest episode yet. So, you know what?
Sorry. Got the 3 biggest talkers, I guess.
Zibba zoo. That's the note I'm going to end it on. Zibba zoo. And I am Brandon Kratkoczki.
I'm Angelo Auriemma.
I'm Vivien Pong by Atari.
Vivien Pong by Atari. And we will see you next time, folks. Take care.